Hi, I'm talking with clinical psychologist Lihi Gilhart today. Hi, Lihi, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. Lihi, we all know that making Aliyah is an extremely stressful process. What advice can you give parents in helping them prepare their children for the process of making Aliyah or any immigration where they'll be leaving their home and their friends?
I think it's always really important to try and meet your child at the emotional place that they're at, and to understand that leaving a place, I mean, one needs to separate and to see if the child is leaving a school, friends, an environment where they've actually felt really safe and really protected. And so it will be very difficult for them to leave. And so it's almost there to not expect them, not to say, no, it's going to be really great and you're going to meet all these friends and just don't think about it. It's almost not to deny the child the pain and the fear that he has. So it's really important to be able to contain that for the child and to give them a sense that they can talk about that, and they don't need to appear that they're really strong and that they're not worried about it or upset about it. Obviously, if the child hasn't found himself, then he may be actually really willing to try a new environment because it may be exciting. There may be a whole lot of new opportunities that he doesn't even know. That you may think that will be a new experience for them. So I think it's really important to meet the child at their emotional place that they're at, and at the same time open the possibility that it can be an exciting experience, and that it will be difficult and challenging, but that maybe they will experience different things that they haven't yet.
And what should I do if my child does start acting out or even withdrawing once I've actually made Aliyah?
Well, if, for example, you see that you're unable to reach the child, and no matter what you do in trying to communicate with him, or even seeing what's happening at school and seeing if he's struggling at school, if that doesn't, if you're unable to reach the child, then therapy is always a good option to give the child the platform to express things that parents don't really know how to deal with. And I think what's important is to always be aware. It doesn't matter with what you're dealing with a child. Always be very, very attuned and aware to how your child is reacting to different things, new environments.
Do you think it's different with a teenager? When it comes to dealing with a teenager, do you think that you need to handle the situation differently to your toddler?
Well, I think that there is going to be a difference because your toddler is going to express himself very different from your teenage, and your teenage can rebel in very different manners than your toddler can act out. So there definitely will be differences, and perhaps even it may be easier for a toddler to fit in as opposed to a teenager to fit into a new environment, because one needs to think they're coming from something that's very different culturally. If one needs to think about South Africa and Israel, it's a huge difference, cultural difference, a mentality difference. So it would be more difficult perhaps for the teenager to fit in versus your toddler.
So in that respect, what happens to the boundaries within a family? I come from South Africa, and it's not safe for my child to go out late at night, walk the streets. We have a set curfew. Now we arrive in Israel. Things are very different. My teenager wants to fit in, but we still have boundaries within the home. Should I now let go of those boundaries as a parent so that my child fits in? Or what advice do you have in that respect?
Well, I mean, I think you're raising a very important issue, because there are huge differences between South Africa and Israel, exactly because of what you've said, because of the security and our well-being in South Africa, which is because of the crime, and here in Israel it's very, very different. Children go out until 12, 1, to the streets, and we're talking about teenagers. We're not talking about people in their 20s and so forth. So in respect of finding your balance, there will need to be a shift, because once again, one needs to understand that we're in a different setting. So therefore, it is safer. But again, one needs to, where are you living? Where is your child going to? That's also still really, really important to be aware of, and to be involved in. Letting go completely of boundaries, I don't think so, because essentially boundaries always, what is the teenage period? The teenage period is testing boundaries, but they need the boundaries because that makes their world safe. So it's not to let go completely, but it is almost to find that balance between, okay, so maybe I'll let them go up until 12, or, it also depends if it's during the week, on the weekends, and also maybe you can get more. Israel is very social, so the kids, if they feel comfortable, and they'll come to you a lot, so you can also pick up who your kid, their friends that they're going out with, and that way you can also start sussing out, okay, who's my child being with, how comfortable do I feel letting them go out until these particular times. But yes, there will also need to be a shift in the parents' outlook, because Israel is different from South Africa.
Thank you. I think some really, really great advice there that can help some parents making Aliyah. Thank you, Lihi.
You're welcome. Okay. Bye.
Bye.